Were you a fan of Panzer Dragoon way back on the Sega Saturn? If so, Crimson Dragon might actually surprise you. Believe it or not, but it's not quite as bad as it's been made out to be in the mainstream media. So there's a couple things I really like with the game. First off, I really enjoyed the simple and fun elemental system. It's super easy, you'll pick it up in just like a few minutes. Each dragon has one of three different elements to it: fire, light, and wind. A fourth option is void, which technically isn't an element. Anyways, fire is stronger than wind, wind stronger than light, and light stronger than fire. Void is neutral to all other elements. It's extremely important you pick the stronger element because you're awarded a 25% damage increase. Select the wrong one though, and your enemies get the bonus instead. So I like the diversity that it offers. And there's also interesting because while you're sort of evolving your dragons, which I'll touch on in just a second, you're allowed to pick a secondary weapon or basically an elemental attack that isn't associated with the same element as your dragon. So again, this offers just a little bit more variety in terms of the dragons that you're allowed to sort of evolve over time. Missions are broken down into a series of sections. Some have 3, while others have as many as 5. Each section lasts for a short period of time and challenges you to perform a certain task. Some have you attacking swarms of enemies, others collecting orbs, fighting a boss, or simply surviving an incoming assault. Depending how you perform during each of these sections, you're awarded a certain grade. If you perform well enough, you're given a credit bonus, and credits are used to purchase new and more powerful dragons, food for your dragons, rejuvenation items, and more. It's also possible to purchase wingmen to help you on your journey. These cost credits, but can make the difference between getting a D rank in certain sections or an A rank. What's unique is that the wingmen are actually other players' dragon data that has been taken from the cloud. If you're lucky, you can find one for a somewhat affordable price that isn't complete crap. Other times though, you won't be so lucky, and that's where a true co-op mode would have been extremely useful. Thankfully one's incoming, but until that happens, your success with wingmen is entirely luck-based, and that kinda sucks. Once missions are over, you return to a main hub where you can access the store to purchase additional goodies. You can also visit the Dragon's Roost, where you can do a couple of really important things. First, you can feed your dragons, which is how they learn additional skills, and also how you can grant them experience bonuses. Once your dragons hit level 10, that's pretty much it as far as leveling goes. But you can then evolve your dragons into more powerful dragons. You can even change the elemental affinity of your dragon to something else. So there's a lot of diversity, a lot of variety offered in the overall system. Certain things that were alright but not, phenomenal were the story. I'm not even going to bother to get into it, just the fact that it starts off and you're sort of interested in what Crimson Scale virus is all about, but before too long I just stopped caring. I just sort of skipped through it because, I don't know, it just didn't really strike me as anything too thought-provoking. The graphics are also a real mixed bag. Often the game looks like a first or second generation Xbox 360 release. There's often flat textures, low-res polygon enemies, and much more. But then again, other times the environments are both striking and varied, so I don't really get it. But more often than not, the missing details, such as the way holograms are projected, the way they don't even move, there's no lip syncing, there's no lip movement whatsoever in any of these scenes, or the fact that there's simple static pictures that act as your hub's background. I don't know, it just, all of that comes together and makes the game feel extremely dated. Even the environments don't feature a lot of life to them, which is weird for an Xbox One release. And finally, there are areas that are not on rails, and these are a real chore because both the movement and camera controls are sort of mapped to the same analog stick, and you still have to control your reticle at the same time, so controlling the dragon in these stages is extremely annoying. The voice acting isn't cheesy, I would say, but it's acted without any emotion at all. And it's odd because the dialogue is actually pretty good, but it comes across like the voice actors just didn't give a damn. Something else is, The Kinect voice commands, they worked well, but they were simply there to replace a button press. Like for example, you can say fall back to your wingman, or simply press down on the D-pad, and it's faster to just hit down on the D-pad. The camera angles can also be really bad at times. Far too often I found the camera will swoop and turn your dragon in a particular angle so that you don't see incoming projectiles. Other times it'll be lining up your shots against a group of enemies when the camera just pulls right away to the next group of enemies that were, say, behind you. I much prefer the camera system in the original Panzer Dragoon saga, and I'm kind of curious why they decided to switch it for this one. So overall, Crimson Dragon has its fair share of problems. There's no question about that. But I did find it remained a fun and engaging experience nonetheless. And once the co-op patch is released, I truly believe there's going to be some genuine fun to be had here. Because the core gameplay is tight, it's just that the camera system leaves a lot to be desired, and those open areas should have been removed completely because they suck. I'd say if you were a really big die-hard Panzer Dragoon fan and you already own an Xbox One, give this one a shot. Otherwise, I'd say wait for the co-op patch. For the full written review, which includes a lot of details on the rest of the different gameplay systems, hit up projectcoe.com.